Hi, my name is Nicholas. Welcome to this week's Hatha practice. For props for today, a couple hard blocks and a soft block will be handy. And then if you like to have a strap, I will offer one of these binds a few times. So if that doesn't work for the shoulders, then a strap will be handy too. And then anything else you like to practice with. When you're ready, I'll invite you to get started in a child's pose. You can have your props nearby in case they are needed. See what child's pose you would like to start in. Maybe you have the knees about as wide as the mat. You could have the knees in together, hips towards the heels, and you're welcome to slide a soft block between them. And then you can start to let the torso lower down towards the floor, let the arms reach far out in front. The forehead might touch down. You can also prop that up. You're welcome to leave the arms extended, or if you like, you can bring the palms of the hands together and then bend the elbows, start to point the fingertips towards the ceiling. If you're feeling any pinching or anything you would describe as pain here, then gently back out, and you can try coming in again, or you can modify your shape. If any part of the body is feeling a little fidgety here, feel free to find some movement and then come and find your stillness after. When you feel ready, start to soften into the pose. Releasing anything that you don't need here. And from the stillness, start to notice your breath without changing it necessarily. And pay attention to the in and out flow of each breath. Check in here, see if you need a little more time in stillness, and you're welcome to stay. Otherwise, as you feel ready, you may re-extend the arms and plant the hands into the floor and gently pull yourself up to a tabletop position. You can bring the knees in underneath the hips, maybe stretch out the feet one at a time. You can tuck the toes under, press the hips back in space. And then check in with your hands and your wrists. Make sure your hand position feels comfortable here. If you'd rather work from a fist or a block for each hand, you can try that as well. From your tabletop with an inhale breath, let the belly sag down, lift the heart space, lift the tailbone. And then as you exhale, reverse it. Press the hands to the floor, chin to the chest, and you can dome the upper back. And then flow with your breath at your pace. Inhale breath to open through the front body. And exhale breath to lengthen through the back body. And then flow. Maybe closing down the eyes. And as you move with the breath, and check in to see if your body's asking for any extra movement. Maybe as you inhale, you turn the head to one side, and then the next round, the other side, or any kind of snaking through the spine or circling of the hips, anything that feels good in the body. And about 10 more rounds of breath. Make sure you feel even on both sides. In your next inhale, come back to your tabletop position. Then from here, we'll head to a squat. So you can step left foot outside the left hand, right foot outside the right, and start to sink the hips. It's still early in the practice, so maybe you'd like to make yourself a seat. You can use one or both of your hard blocks and take some pressure out of the knees. If it feels better to be lifted on the ball of the foot with your heel lifted up, that's fine too. You could also slide a prop under the heel of each foot to help it feel more anchored. And the hands can stay on the floor the whole time, especially if you want them for balance. Otherwise, if you are lifting them up, maybe you're bringing hands to prayer. If you notice the elbows are pressing the knees apart, then create just a little bit of resistance with the knees pressing into the elbows, enough to help the low back feel secure. And then lengthen the spine here. Find that proud chest. Notice if the shrug muscles are creeping up towards the ears. See what you can do to keep them nice and down and back. If you feel steady, close down the eyes or find a gaze point and breathe here. And if the eyes are closed, you can open them again. And from here, we're going to head up to standing. So just check in with your body. You can take it slow. If you do get a head rush, you can come part way back down, or you can pause where you are. You can come into a forward fold. Notice the soles of the feet, and you can start to press them down, gently tone through the belly, and then start to press the feet down as you come all the way up. You can reach the arms up towards the ceiling. Maybe pause here for a couple breaths. When you're ready, you can lower the arms and give the legs a little shake out, the arms a little shake out. Hard blocks near the top of the mat just so that they're handy if you need them. And then come and find your mountain pose. Settle in the feet. As the feet press to the floor, find that gentle rebound through the spine, shoulder blades nice and soft, a little length through the back line of the neck, softness through the arms, through the face. When you're ready, pause here. As you're ready, you can flutter the eyes back open. Give the fingers and toes a little wiggle here. As you're ready, we'll take the feet nice and wide apart. And then you can start to point the toes out a little bit, bend into the knees, and come and find your goddess stance. And check in here, maybe give yourself a rock side to side. And the knees and toes don't have to be tracking together, but find whatever orientation for the feet feels the most natural in the rest of the body. Always a pain for expression, so if you do need to back out a little bit, you're welcome to do that as well. You might take the hands to prayer, you can leave them on the legs, maybe up the cactus or up to the ceiling. Notice what's happening in the spine here. If you find the bum is sticking out, maybe a slight hug, pubic bone to belly button to help the low back feel a little more stable. Notice if all the pressure is in the toes or in the heel of each foot. See what you can do to balance that out. And again, you might close the eyes here and take a few deep breaths. You can stay right as you are, or reach up with the left hand, catch hold of the left wrist, and take an inhale, shrug the left shoulder up, and as you exhale, arc over towards the right. Inhale, come on up. Same side, exhale. 3 more. Last one. Inhale, reach up, and release the left wrist. We'll head to the other side. If the legs need a break, then go for it. Right wrist, you can hold on to it. Shrug the right shoulder, deep inhale, and arc left. Inhale, center. Same again. Last couple. Inhale, reach up. Release the wrists, the arms. And then when you're ready, extend the legs. And take a moment, enjoy that release. You can parallel the feet as you're ready. We'll set up for a forward fold, so maybe a hard block or two nearby in case you need them. You can come to your halfway point first and check in with the feet. Sometimes turning the feet in a little bit will make this feel better for the rest of the body, so just see what proportions work for you. You're welcome to stay here, or maybe you're releasing hands to the floor, to your props. You can let the spine start to get nice and heavy. If you feel like you need a little movement here, feel free to find that. Otherwise, you can come straight to stillness. Find the arm expression that feels best here. So hands to floor, to legs, to low back. Maybe you're interlacing, maybe you're reaching arms to the ceiling. And listen to your body. If you have a bind, you can let that go. You can bring your fingertips to the floor or hands to your blocks, come to a halfway lift. And then we'll start to turn all 10 toes over towards the top of the mat, and you can walk the hands around and come and find yourself in a high lunge. You take a moment to square the hips, adjust anything else you need to. You can widen your base, lengthen or shorten. Any height setting for your props here. And then as you're ready, we'll start to pulse. So with your inhale breath, you might let the pelvis dip a little bit. You might lift the heart space and the gaze. And then as you exhale, you can start to press the hips back, extend the front leg towards straight. Either stay in more of a halfway lift, or maybe you're dipping a little bit as well. And then pulse with your breath. Inhale to your lunge. Lengthen that front body, that front line of the left leg. And then exhale, hips back. Lengthen the back line of the right leg. And with your breath, your pace. Last 3 rounds. All right, inhale breath, return to your lunge. And now you can remove the blocks, bring the hands to the floor. You can step the right foot partway back first, but eventually we'll send the right leg up and back in the air into a 3-legged dog. You can keep the hips square for a moment, so right toes pointing towards the floor. Don't worry about how high the leg is lifting, but imagine some strength. Imagine that strong line from the right shoulder up to the right heel. And then from here, if you like, you can open up, stack the hips, maybe bend the knee, see what feels good. Notice if all the weight is pressing into the left hand and shoulder. See what you can do to balance that out with the right. Left leg stays active here. If the hip is lifted, you can re-square. Bring the right foot next to the left. Inhale, breath, come forward to plank. And then pause here, top of a push-up, knees can lower. And deep inhale, lengthen, heels to crown. And then stay with your exhale. 3 more breaths. Last full round. And then take an inhale. With your exhale, lower all the way down to the belly. You can untuck the toes, bring the hands forward and out to the sides a little bit. You can work on fingertips or hands to blocks or palms flat. And press the toenails down to lift the kneecaps. Inhale, breath, lift up for a strange cobra. And then exhale, soften down. You can add on. Inhale, maybe lift and turn. And then exhale, soften. Other side. Four more rounds of breath. And soften down. Hands under the shoulders and press the tabletop. And then hips to the heels. Find your child's pose. This time I'll invite you to have the knees together. But if that doesn't work for you, then of course you can modify. And come to find your child's pose. Add in any props that you need for support. And soften anything you don't need here. And be with your breath. Only when you feel ready to move again, you can reach the arms forward, plant the palms to the floor, and pull up to tabletop, and then tuck the toes, lift the knees, come and find your downward facing dog. And take a breath or two here. You can move it out any way you need to, or choose stillness. And then when you feel ready, you can start to walk the feet towards the hands and come and find your forward fold at the top of the mat. Any distance between the feet, as much of a bend to the knees as you need. Let the spine and head be heavy. Hands to props, legs, floor, maybe behind the back or interlace and reach. If you're interlacing hands, you can switch the clasp. It's a slightly awkward one just to keep things even for the body. If you have a bind, you can let that go. Bring the fingertips to the floor, to your legs, or to your props. And come and find your halfway lift. Stretch out here for a moment. Maybe wiggle the hips a little bit. And when you're ready, we'll step the left foot forward and take a giant step back with the right foot. Come and find that high lunge and adjust anything you need to here. And maybe widening or anything else. And when you're ready, we'll start to flow. So inhale breath, you might dip the pelvis a little bit, lift the heart space. And then exhale, hips back, maybe fold. And then flow. Your breath, your pace, your range of motion. Last 3. As you return to your lunge, pause, maybe bringing fingertips or hands rather to the floor. And then when you're ready, 3-legged dog, you can send the left leg up into the air, keeping the hips level. That right leg active, the hands actively pressing into the floor. The left leg super strong here. And then if you like to, if you did so on the first side, you might lift and stack the left hip on top of the right. You can bend the left knee. And notice again the shoulders here. Keep that right hand with as much weight as the left as you can. When you're ready, you can re-square the hips and then lower the left foot down. With an inhale breath, come forward to your plank and pause here. Take 5 deep breaths. You can lower the knees if you need a more supportive version. Stay here. One last inhale. And then lower down with your exhale. As you arrive, you can untuck the toes, press the toenails to the floor. Option to go through strange cobra like we did the first round, or this time you can reach the arms back in space. Maybe hands stay on the floor the whole time. You could also choose to interlace once again, keeping the pelvis anchored to the floor. Zip up the inside line of the legs, make the legs active. And with an inhale, lift anything you like up off the floor. And then pause with your exhale. And stay here and breathe. Imagining that length from the toes to the crown of the head. Keep the back of the neck long, the gaze towards the floor. You can lower anytime you need to. Maybe stack the palms, rest the forehead. Otherwise, maybe you're staying here for 5 more breaths. When you're ready to soften down, go for it. Maybe stack the palm, maybe slide the left knee up towards the left. Stillness or a little rocking here. Do whatever you need. If you bent the left knee, you can re-extend and then take it over to the opposite side. And re-extending the right leg. And you can bring the hands underneath the shoulders, press to tabletop, and then come and find your child's pose once again. Any version of the shape, any support that you need. Find your pause. And from your child's pose, as you feel ready, extend the arms towards the front, plug the hands to the floor, and pull up to your tabletop position, and then you can tuck the toes, lift the knees, and come and find your downward facing dog. And taking a couple of breaths here in stillness or in any movement that you need. And from your down dog, take a big step forward with the right foot, plugging it to the floor, and then bring the back foot close enough that you can bring the heel to the floor. We'll start to bend into that front knee, tone the belly, and then lift up to find a warrior one. It might feel a little wobbly here, so you can take the right foot to the right a few inches. Adjust the back foot however you need to. So for me, the toes mostly point forward. For others, maybe a little more to the side, and hips relatively level with one another. Just enough tone through the low belly to keep the low back supported. And then bend into the front knee as much as you feel comfortable. You might find a nice stretch through that left calf. And bring the hands to prayer for a few breaths. Awesome. From here, we'll head to pyramid. So just make sure that your hard blocks are within reach in case you need them. And from your warrior one stance, you can start to extend that front leg towards straight. And sometimes it helps to shorten the base a little bit as well. So just listen to your body. And from here, take a moment, lengthen through the spine, broaden through the chest, deep inhale. And as you exhale, you can start to hinge your way forward. Hands can come to find the blocks or be wherever you need to be. And you're welcome to pause in more of a halfway lift shape. You could give yourself an adjustment, right thumb to the right hip crease and manually press it back. It might deepen the sensation. It might change the expression a little bit. You're welcome to stay here. If you'd like to fold over the front leg, go for it. Listen to your body. You're also welcome to pulse, maybe inhaling, coming to that partway lift, lengthening, and then exhaling, softening any amount. Stillness or movement. Take a few deep breaths here. Listen to your body. Last couple of deep breaths wherever you are. If you're folded, come to that halfway lift shape and gaze down towards the floor. You can hop the back foot a little closer and then take the hands about a foot in front of the front foot. You can start to transfer your weight onto that right foot as you lift the left leg straight up behind you, toes pointing towards the floor. And again, don't worry too much about the height, but make the foot strong. Imagine a long line from that left heel to the crown of the head. Breathe here. Think of your locust pose and imagine those back muscles working here. For the last couple of breaths, if you like, you could think about bringing one, maybe both hands to prayer, challenge the balance even more. Maybe the face is clenching and it can soften a little bit here. Last option, or we'll all head to standing, but you can come with me, is to start to bend the left knee in towards the chest and slowly start to come all the way up. You can bring the knee with you. Final expression for this sequence is to bring the left knee open towards the left and come and find your tree pose. You can connect left foot to the inside of the right leg. And this can be at the ankle, the calf, the inner thigh. Generally, we avoid the knee if there's sensitivity. Take a moment to find your balance. You can hold the wall, find a gaze point, and see if you can find an expression that you can breathe in for a few deep breaths. Inhale, breath, bring the left knee back into center, and then release it with your exhale. Give the legs a little shake out. When you're ready, come and find your mountain pose. If you'd rather pause in a forward fold or a squat, you're welcome to do that as well. Be wherever you need to be. Whatever shape you're pausing in, take a scan through the body and check in. Wherever you are, you can come and join in mountain pose as you're ready. And from mountain pose, you can wiggle the fingers and the toes. You can flutter open the eyes. Maybe roll the shoulders a couple times. Anything that needs a little shake out can have that. And then from here, we'll take a big step back with the right foot. Starting to set up for Warrior One. So you can adjust your base however you need. You can widen, lengthen, shorten, angle the back foot however it feels the most comfortable, but make sure that that back heel stays grounded the whole time. Bend in as much as feels appropriate in your body. Enjoy that stretch through the back line of the right leg, that slight tone of the belly, maybe hands to prayer. Steady gaze to help you feel more steady in space, or you can play with closing down the eyes. Breathe here. And from here, you can slowly start to extend the front leg. Maybe hop the back foot a little bit closer. And square the hips. Take a moment to lengthen the spine. And with a proud chest, take a deep inhale. With your exhale, slowly start to hinge into your pyramid pose. Your hands can find your blocks or fingertips to floor, whatever you did on the first side. If it was helpful, maybe left thumb to the left hip crease and encourage that hip back in space. Deepen the stretch through the left leg. Choose stillness here, or you can pulse with me. You can fold, you can interlace hands. Last couple of deep breaths, stillness or movement wherever you are. And then coming to your halfway lift, you can hop the back foot a little closer and take the hands about a foot forward in space. Slowly start to transfer the weight to the left leg as you lift the right leg up behind you. Right toes pointing down. You can imagine stomping the wall behind. Find that strength through the back line of the right leg from the heel to the crown of the head. Find that stretch. And breathe here. For the last few breaths, maybe one hand, maybe both, come and find your heart space. Make sure you're still breathing. And if you're coming with me for this transition, start to bend the right knee in towards the chest. Slowly start to lift all the way up. Bring the right knee up. Find your gaze point and then open up in tree pose, right leg to the inside of the left leg, or right foot rather, to the inside of the left leg. Find that length now from the left heel to the crown. Soften anything you don't need. Breathe. And with an inhale breath, lift the right knee to center, and then release the right foot down. Left leg can have a shake, arms can have a shake. And when you're ready, come and find your mountain pose. And take a pause for a few deep breaths and check back in with the body. From your mountain pose, as you feel ready, you can flutter the eyes open and walk the feet a little bit closer together. You can reach the arms up towards the ceiling and catch hold of the left wrist and maybe cross the left ankle in front of the right. And take an inhale here, shrug the left shoulder, lengthen that whole left-hand side, and then let the hips go towards the left as the arms reach towards the right. Find a full body side stretch. If it feels more comfortable to do this with bent elbow and you can catch hold of the elbow, then go for it. Also, the right hand can come anywhere along the right hip or the right leg for extra support. Find that stretch through the whole left side. And gently tone the belly. You can start to lift yourself back up. Uncross the legs. And we'll set up for the second side. Reaching the arms up, catch hold of the right wrist, maybe crossing the right ankle. Inhale, breaths, lengthen through the right side. And then exhale, hips to the right, arms towards the left. And you can mirror whatever you did on the first side. If you need to modify this side, then go for it. Find that stretch for the whole right side. And slowly start to lift yourself back up. You can release the arms and the legs, give them a little shake out. And then you can take the feet nice and wide, point the toes to an angle. Slowly start to bend the knees as we come back down to a squat. We're not going to stay this time, just have your props nearby, lower the bum down to the floor. If you like to give the legs a little shake out, then go for it. And then come and find your butterfly shape. It might feel nice to sit up off the edge of your soft block, especially if you find it quite effortful to hold the spine upright. And see what version of this you want. You can take the heels right up against the pelvis or have them a little further away in more of a diamond shape. If you like to support the outer hips, you can do that as well. Sometimes having something to rest into can let those inner groin muscles soften a little bit more. Let the pelvis be heavy, let the spine be tall. And you're welcome to stay right here. Or for today, I'll offer the yin style shape, or the yin style fold. So for that one, there's more rounding through the spine. So if you are rounding with me, just make sure there's no pulling with the arms. If you'd rather fold with a flat back and then pause somewhere along the way, then go for it. If you're coming with me, chin towards the chest, start to round from the upper back, mid back, lower back. Let the head, let the spine, let the body feel really heavy here. You can use the props however you need to. Make sure it feels passive, make sure it feels pain-free. Eventually find your stillness in your version of the shape. Notice if the mind has started to wander. Gently guide your attention back to the body and back to the breath. As you feel ready to come out, you can use the support of the hands and slowly lift yourself up. If you want, you can remove your props, maybe guide the knees in together. You can either pause here, maybe feet wide, knees together. You can lean back on the hands and puff up the chest for a counter stretch, or you can give the knees a windshield wiper side to side. And from here, we'll set up for a twist. So maybe sitting up off the edge of a prop, you can extend the left leg out in front, and then step the right foot just outside the left leg. You can keep the bottom leg extended, or if you prefer, you can bend that knee as well. Bring the left foot near the right hip. Right hand can come behind you, left arm can reach up. Take a deep inhale. And as you twist, as you exhale, turn towards the right. You can connect the left elbow to the right knee any way you like. If the floor is a little far away for the right hand, you can use a prop. And keep that length here. Maybe take the gaze over the right shoulder. You can return the head to center, then the torso, and then maybe come and find a counter stretch to the opposite side. And then as you're ready, we'll set that up on the second side so you can unravel the legs. If they need a little shakeout, then go for it. Right leg extended, left foot steps outside. And again, the option to bend the bottom knee, right heel towards the left hip. Left hand behind, right arm reaches up, deep inhale. And then twist as you exhale, right elbow to the left knee any way you like. Keep the spine tall, left hand grounded, maybe the gaze over the left shoulder. You can gently bring the head back to center and then unravel the spine. Maybe take your counter twist for a breath or two. And then return. You can unravel the legs and remove your props. And give the legs a little tap out, a little windshield wiper. And then when you're ready, we'll lower down onto the back. Have your hard blocks nearby in case you need them. And you can come down any way you like. Take a moment to get comfortable here. And then we'll set up for a passive back bend. So you can bend your knees, maybe bring the feet roughly underneath them. And from here, press the feet down, lift the hips just enough to slide either one or both of your hard blocks underneath the pelvis. And see where it feels the most comfortable. Think more under the bum than under the spine. And maybe this feels like plenty. You can rest the arms down by the sides. If you like, you can also play with extending the legs towards straight and see what that feels like. And then don't feel like you have to hold the feet in any particular shape. If they want to flop a little bit, let them do their thing. And find your stillness here as you're ready. Check in here, see if you'd benefit from a little more time in this shape. Otherwise, as you feel ready, if the legs are extended, you can slowly start to rebend them. And lift the hips just high enough that you can slide your heart blocks out of the way. And then slowly lower the pelvis down to the floor. And take the soles of the feet together, let the knees open wide. You can support the legs with your heart blocks. Offering a reclined butterfly shape for Shavasana today. If there's any other quiet, symmetrical shape that you'd rather rest in, then go for it. And just be gentle with the body. Add in whatever support that you need. If there's anything you want to adjust in your space, maybe dimming lights or quieting music or anything like that, then go for it. Take your time to get comfortable. Let the body feel supported by whatever it's resting into, the floor, your props. And gently allow the breath to release to its natural inhale and exhale. And let the eyelids get heavy. Let the head get heavy. And find your rest here. Gently bring your attention back to the space. And take a few deep breaths to reawaken the body. Gently reach down and you can guide the knees back together. Maybe taking the feet wide and resting the knees in together for a few deep breaths. And from here, it might feel nice to bring the knees into the chest, and you can wrap the arms around the shins. Give yourself a hug and a gentle rock side to side. And you might switch and now rock up and down the length of the spine, mindful of the neck. Find a range of motion that feels good to you. You can either roll down to one side, maybe pause for a few breaths, or if you like, you can gently rock and roll your way up to a seat. And take your time, there's no rush. And once you do make your way up, you can come and find any comfortable seated position using any of your props. Take a moment to settle the hips, to gently lengthen the spine, soften the shoulders, and rest the hands wherever they feel comfortable. And then take a scan through the body, check in here. Notice that gentle flow of the breath. Check in with your head space. And then you might connect the palms at the heart and bow the chin in towards the chest. Thank you for sharing your breath and your energy today. Namaste. Thank you for joining me for this week's practice. And my name is Nicholas. If you have any questions, please reach out and enjoy the rest of your week.